Hello, and welcome to the October UTA. This podcast is an abbreviated version of the printed pre-UTA News Brief Bulletin. For specific details, take a look at the written version on SharePoint or the one emailed to your personal email address. Remember, the commander's priorities are recruitment, retention, mentorship, and improving wing morale. The commander's intent is to provide funding, equipment, and training to achieve and maintain the combat readiness of 349th Airmen. Now, a few special events this weekend. First up, Bold Allyship is backed by popular request. It'll be on November 15th at 2 p.m. Now, you'll need to register and receive a confirmation email. Many members in our community are looking for ways in which they can be more informed about issues relating to race, gender, and sexuality within our Air Force and broader communities. But let's face it, talking about these issues is hard and uncomfortable. We're worried about saying or doing the wrong thing. We're terrified of being called a racist, so we do nothing. We let important moments, big and small, go unaddressed. And our silence on avoidance on these topics only perpetuates them. Few people can navigate these challenging situations well in the moment without thinking about them first and developing strategies for what to do. This is our chance to come together, to learn, practice, and grow in a brave space that we create together. You should join if you're motivated to better support Black airmen and other airmen of color. Determine how or why you should make your leadership more explicitly inclusive of intersection airmen and their families. For example, female airmen, airmen of color, LGBTQ airmen, immigrant airmen, etc. Or you're personally trying to become a better ally for members of other communities that you don't personally identify with. Remember, you need to register in advance for this event because there's limited seating. You can see in your email bulletin for the registration link. Now for our in-flight guide. If you've been affected by the wildfires, wildfire preparation, response, and recovery information is available on the Wing SharePoint page and our public website. You can also find advice, forums, and points of contact by following the links in the written version of this podcast. For political activities guidance, members on active status are prohibited from participating, and we strongly encourage all members to include DoD civilians and reservists not in status to remain apolitical. In addition, it is not encouraged for any DoD member, regardless of duty status, to voluntarily place themselves in potentially dangerous situations. Operations Security, OPSEC. The protection of non-classified critical information is a full-time responsibility for all Air Force members. OPSEC is about protecting and denying the adversary information that can disrupt, delay, or hamper our operations. You can review the 349th AMW Critical Information and Indicators list prior to participating in inspections, exercises, missions, and deployments to identify areas where our collective actions leave signature or tidbits of information that the adversary could exploit to compromise mission success or negatively impact equipment, members, or facilities. For questions, call Master Sergeant James King at 424-0587. And so you all know, Article 137 briefings are now on ADLS. A computer-based Article 137 UCMJ briefing is now available on ADLS under the Miscellaneous tab. Once your Article 137 training is complete, please ensure you email a copy of the certificate to the 349th AMW JA org box to receive credit. Also, please send a copy to your career advisor. If you are an enlisted member of the Armed Forces, then this briefing applies to you. Article 137 states that these articles must be explained upon entry to active duty after a member has completed 6 months of service and at every reenlistment. Should you complete the briefing and still have questions, please contact the 349th AMW Legal Office at 424-1331. Bylaw Compliance TAP attendance. All reservists are in orders for 30 days or longer must view a Transitional Assistance Program, a video available by using the link in the written version of this podcast. This video captures the bylaw requirements for deployers and families and long tour MPA RPA orders participants. Due to COVID, several units will be offering limited in-person support this UTA. The legal office will be offering limited in-person and virtual UTA support by appointment only. For questions or to schedule employment, email Lieutenant Colonel Michael Felsen, Major John Capps, Tech Sergeant Christopher Hernandez, or call 424-1331. The following 349th Support Squadron offices will offer limited in-person support by appointment. NPF, their number is 424-2345. Testing. IPR, their number is 424-5993. COM, their number is 816-3480. The following 349th Support Squadron offices will offer virtual-only support. PSM 424-8425. Also, Career Development, Force Management, WCAA. You can call them for out processing at 424-3868. Fitness Assessment, Lodging. Other meetings and training events. The First Sergeant's Council meeting will be Friday, November 13th at 10:30 via Zoom. The POC for that is Senior Margin Archia at 707-816-0337. 349th Airmen and Family Readiness will provide virtual support, services, and resources throughout the UTA. You can give them a call at 424-1616 or 7600. The newcomers briefing will be Saturday, November 14th via Zoom Gov. The POC is Mr. Lauren Mickle at 424-7600. Rising 6 will be meeting this November 14th from 10 to 10:40 at Building 228 on the second floor conference room. The POC will be Staff Sergeant Lutfi at 707-424-8482. Chiefs Group meeting will be November 14th at 11:30 in the Wing Conference Room and Zoom Gov. The POC will be Chief Master Sergeant Tamplin at 424-1677. Tuition assistance will be November 14th at 1 p.m. in Building 249 Bay B. The POC is Senior Master Sergeant Heather Craig at 424-2931. No sign-up is required, but please show up with a mask. The Self-Assessment Program Manager SAPM training will be November 14th from 1 to 2 in the 349 Operations Group Conference Room in Building 237 Bay D on the second floor. PPSM training is immediately following. The POC for this event is Chief Master Sergeant Andrea Young at 424-3275. Personal Financial Readiness Briefing promotion will be November 14th from 1 to 2:30 on Zoom Gov. The Air Force CPI Practical Problem Solving Model class will be November 14th from 2 to 3 in the 349th Operations Group in room Building 237 Bay D on the second floor. Our key audience for that will be all unit members who are involved in developing corrective action plans or anyone who has a desire to improve their problem-solving skills using a logical and proven method. The POC is Mr. Will Link at 424-4783. Doing inspection team, initial and refresher, will be November 14th from 3 to 4 in the 349th Operations Group Conference Room. That will be Building 237 Bay D on the second floor. The POC will be Chief Master Sergeant Andrea Young at 424-3275. The enlisted development session will be fitness and nutrition. This is open to all ranks, and it's going to be on November 15th at 11 a.m. on Zoom Gov. POCs are Chief Master Sergeant Serrano and Chief Master Sergeant Crowder. Number is 424-3796. Some other key things to be aware of. Fitness assessments will resume January 1st, 2021. Remember, fitness assessments will resume January 1st in 2021. There will be a UFPM meeting, which will be held November during this UTA. This meeting will provide updates on fitness assessment scheduling, fitness exemptions, required guidelines for internal fitness testing, and required equipment for internal fitness testing. PTL training will resume during the November and December UTAs in preparation for testing in 2021. Topics will be CPR, AED training, 20-meter hammer training, and AC measurements. The POC is Senior Master Sergeant Jane Westcott. And always remember lodging, ALRS reservation and cancellation deadlines. Reservations for all UTAs need to be Wednesday by 23:59 PST post the primary UTA. And cancellations for UTAs need to be Tuesdays by noon EST week of the scheduled UTA. For those newcomers, if you are new to Travis Air Force Base and qualify for lodging under the Reserve Travel Radius Guideline, you will be assigned lodging for your first UTA weekend. Now, while attending the Saturday Newcomers Brief, the automated lodging reservation system phone application will be discussed, as well as instructions on how to procure scheduled UTA reservations and other important information that will also be included. For updates, UTA dates are listed in ALRS up to December 2020. Inventory from our contracted hotels is still being received. Some of you may attempt reservations and receive a message that there is no inventory. Please do not call our office when this happens. As we get more rooms, those who attempt prior to the deadline will be automatically assigned lodging before the UTA. So we get a lot of questions about dining. For example, when can wing members eat at the DFAC during the UTA status? If you are on a rescheduled UTA, members must have an Air Force Form 40A to show the cashier, and the electronic copy on their phone is acceptable. Without a 40A, the member will be charged for their meal. If you're on annual tour orders, the member will be charged. If you're in civilian status, the member will be charged. If you're in art status, the member will be charged. A couple other common questions is, what is ESM? ESM is Essential Station Messing, and it's in the member's meal card or the member's CAT card. So what other amounts of food are allowed? You can have 1 entree, 2 sides, and 2 drinks. What happens if a member has too much? If you're using the ESM or the CAC, a report is generated and reviewed monthly. Any member who is not in the proper status to use the ESM or CAC, or who had more food than authorized, will be contacted by Finance for reimbursement via payroll reduction. For any questions, please email 349fss.esm.dfac@us.af.mil. The chaplains. The 349th Air Mobility Wing Chaplain Team requests 2 minutes of your time to complete a quick 5-question survey. Your feedback is appreciated and helps the team identify ways to best serve. Please use the link in the written version of this podcast. Restricted area badges. The 349th Security Forces will be open on Saturday and Sunday of the November UTA. Please ensure all required paperwork, the AF IMT 2586, and the DD Form 577 are completed and processed through 60 FSS Pass and ID, or you won't be seen. The POC for 60 FSS Pass and ID is Kim Stoller at 424-67306. The 349th POC is Tech Sergeant Daniela Rosas at 424-0800. Their building is located at 381 at the top of the hill. They're on the 2nd floor, Wing C. UTA walk-in hours are Saturday and Sunday from 9 a.m. to noon. For special requests, please contact Senior Master Sergeant Teams, Master Sergeant Roberts, or Tech Sergeant Rosas during the week. 349th IG Complaints is looking for additional Wing IG staff to help address the concerns of our members and partner and keep Wing leadership appraised of significant issues pertaining to the readiness discipline, and efficiency of every aspect of our mission. We are looking for an officer, major through lieutenant colonel, and a senior NCO, master sergeant through chief, who would like a career broadening opportunity. If you are interested, please email Lieutenant Colonel Koo Kim or call 424-5298. It's the holiday season coming up, and the Fisher House Festival of Trees auction is coming up as well. The 349th tree is themed Key to My Heart. Members and organizations are invited to donate items for the annual tree auction that unlock your heart. The tree will be decorated with keys this year. Individuals can donate gifts, and booster clubs or other NPOs can donate gifts. That way, 501c3 can solicit for donations to local businesses and organizations. Each donor will be recognized by a key on the tree, with a tag that identifies a person or entity that donated a gift. The tree will be on display in the maintenance atrium in Building 31 prior to the event on the November 20th and auctioned off. The proceeds will be given to the Fisher House at Travis. The 2019 tree was auctioned for $300. The entire event in 2019 raised about $30,000 for the Fisher House. Let's shoot for a bigger purchase price than last year. Donations unwrapped are needed by November 17th. The POC is a 349th MSG at 707-424-3796. The command chief has a virtual suggestion box. The suggestion box is anonymous and only the command chief receives the emails. The address is available and can be seen in the written version of this podcast. Yellow Ribbon. Yellow Ribbon provides reservists and their families a forum to gather information on the resources and benefits available to them before and after deploying. Please contact Chief Master Sergeant Andrew Peel for the next Yellow Ribbon event scheduled, the location, eligibility, and details. Emails will be sent to the civilian and military email address of all who are eligible. The Wing Org Box for Innovation. Do you have an idea on how to better do your job, to save money, or to improve a process? Your feedback is key. Share your ideas at the email in the bulletin that was emailed to you. For those who need some important phone numbers, the on-call chaplain is 707-290-0351. The on-call first sergeant is 707-290-2853. SARC can be contacted at 707-424-7272. The Suicide Prevention Lifeline, 1-800-273-8255. And don't forget the crisis text line at www.crisistextline.org. This podcast has been brought to you by the 349th Air Mobility Wing Public Affairs Office. If you would like to make a suggestion about future pre-UTA News Brief Bulletin podcasts, please write us at 349AMWPA@us.af.mil. Thank you and have a great UTA.